wonderful Friday night to all of you out there doing the listening. Sports Panorama is live and airborne. I am Benjamin Nketsia. Show proudly brought to us by Royal Kingdom Estate. Twisco. Your number one and your favorite chocolate drink. Very exciting week ahead of us. On the local front, Ghana's Black Queens are prepping for the Women's AFCON. They have a game against Nigeria coming up. We'll be touching on that briefly. Also, as far as boxing is concerned, Abraham Kote Nikwe this week announced that he is resigning from his position as head of the GBA. He did say he was going to hold a press conference today to clear the air on a few things. It's been pushed back according to him. He says he will address those things on Monday, I believe. So very interesting happenings in the world of boxing. The Club World Cup is still happening. A round of 16 is where the tournament is at now. Very interesting pairing so far. We're talking about who's impressed in the tournament so far, who has flattered to deceive, all of that. Of course, we cannot do this without talking about transfers. Kamaldeen Sulemana. I didn't think that anybody was willing to splash the cash on Sulemana. But it looks like we are at that particular juncture, we are at that doorstep, and so money will be spent on Kamaldeen Sulemana. I will touch on that briefly. Milos Kerkez looks set to complete his move to Liverpool Football Club. We'll touch on that also as well. So a lot going on in the world of sports. Coach, this week you have been in distribution mode.
Oh no more.
The potions master.
The consignments are in.
The chemist.
Oh no more.
The potions master. Oh Charlie.
Look, boys are happy.
Oh no.
Now boys are very, very happy.
You have brought happiness to the land.
No more.
And you know it's been very hilarious this
of late. So what else do you need? Oh, you Duncan. I can see your smile.
Charlie, you know, I had an issue this whole week.
That's right.
On Tuesday, I wasn't feeling well.
Now good day.
Charlie, I had the shake, bro. Charlie, Chester, my nerves and my ligaments were all over the place.
This guy.
And I saw a picture
Now good day.
of the potion.
In the video, Charlie.
The master
Raw
brewer.
and smooth.
Just the picture.
No more.
The master brewer. The potions master.
Oh man, you're very na me.
The chief chemist.
Man, you're very na me.
The mixologist.
It's a consignment. I've brought the consignment. After today, I'm going to distribute.
People from
my boss like this, you are going to get one rough, double smooth. I won't get here. One what? One rough or chaff, double smooth.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Like I said,
Thank you, my brother.
Thought.
the people calling me from high places. Charlie, it's mind-boggling.
You mean people are placing orders for all kinds of places?
High places. There's this particular man. He's Charlie senior man. My brother Charlie. He plays a very important role in the scheme of things. Charlie, the city that's coming there.
Tell him he's look in advance. He's in advance. He's sorted.
Charlie, the DM day yesterday. He says, "Look, hi Jude, I trust your well.
Now go day.
Kindly let us reach Coach Nimble.
Now go day.
That I need one as soon as possible.
Look, best regards."
Charlie, I need my bell here for this because this is.
But where is the bell?
Oh, Charlie, they brought us that fool's bell.
Oh,
the Cantamanto bell.
but
That's the one. Won't
qualify.
This thing I did tell you, the person I did read a message from.
Oh, Charlie.
He be senior man for the system inside.
Ben should have called me.
No, I'll get theory safe. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for make the thing Charlie on a national drink.
now
Charlie.
you are misbehaving. Now you are misbehaving.
We for celebrate that.
Now you are misbehaving.
Because it's curing things.
Nketsia, you can attest to it. Let the whole Ghana know that
I'm saying that
you can attest to it.
That you are the potions master.
Oh, now go day.
The chemist.
Boss, okay.
The mixologist.
Now me. Joe Zebal.
Thank you, my brother.
Charlie.
Oh gosh.
Banwe kwe walanwe, banwe kwe walano, banwe kwe walanwe, banwe kwe walano, walano le Yesu, banwe ko, mon fiamon ni kuma yobo, banwe kwe walano le eje. Banwe ko, banwe kwe walanwe, banwe kwe walano, banwe kwe walanwe, banwe kwe walano, walano le eje, banwe ko.
Thank you.
How you was about?
Thank you.
Mene swanima swanama swae. Wako bele yache, o manche yele aba. Yo anu oba le oba.
Nakai.
The weather, thanks to you, your bogbele na. Call your me fe fale. I'll call your me J. Osmo. Ejema. No funny joma. Akekpeo. Wakashi dambo. Mofia mo fe klalo. Ghana ma mo fe klalo. Abo fambi etwe be she. Eshe opemwe denche no. Ni me no ba supply. But no back bena mi shed so o mo no nesha ko no o ne ba show no so touch here e ne ba share no ye tell me jile
whether he likes it
e ne ba share no so
we will supply
when ma supply but small ba supply ke atuni ni yo wa job ni yo wa denche zebot a job mena ne mi ba nke mbi kokpe
oh Charlie
achole po ni obuama Paul ni wa job wonu nke yo wa dencha job nkebo akegmene pe ni nkebo pe poni obuama you and your lovely sister Pauletta ona Paul and Pauletta ni obuama nke ni wa George nkebo anything in chemistry just give me a call. I will volunteer. I will help you till you succeed in the name of Jehovah Zebaoth. Jomo Eric like a program that at the end of this show to me no feel manic bear. Ow! Brian in Burma walk a leg bin no more. Matthias Cunha walk a leg bin no more. Victor Jokeres walk a leg bin no more. Costa of Porto walk a leg bin no more. Oh na many place ni man you can make me on a ton in I can't be Vos actually. Liverpool player that Florent Vance. He's a good player. Jeremy Frimpong. I'm a four can make no more. Jadon Sancho. Obaya. Osmo Obaya. Sancho yakwaje. Memo man you me no yakwaje. Ya no ya do. No funny jaje Obayi. World Club Championship anymore. Me kuma hani bula ba me she be no bad na bula ba me fe yo wa jomo soso ene yo fe jomo le ko no ne ta oni national ye yesu ba me amen so I'm praying that God should bless you. Don't look at me like that.
I want to know I said, amen that's why
when somebody say Jehovah job it means God should bless you.
Amen.
So
thank you.
Today you get your consignment and you'll be fine.
Let's get into things. And let's start off on the boxing note. Let me get that quickly out of the way because Gabi Ofer these days has been interacting with the boxing crowd. Shout outs to YouTube following. For those of you who are watching and haven't subscribed yet, hit the like and subscribe button. Let's get things going. Gabi, what's going on? Your good friend Kote Nikwe says that he is stepping down from the boxing authority. A few things have peculiarly happened, in the lead up to his decision. So, notably, there was the passing of Oluwasegun Olarenwaju, the Nigerian boxer. The GBA boss has not been happy with how the post investigation was handled. He's not happy with the composition of the committee that was set up to investigate the guy's death. And then there was the Battle of the Beasts as well, where we heard that he was literally
it was alleged
that he was part of the atmosphere as far as the organization of the promotion.
Is that ironical?
Oh no, I'm just saying.
I think he was just there.
He was air as far as
the past him by.
He was literally air as far as that whole
the blue tick
situation. They passed him over like he had sheep's blood on his forehead. they didn't mind him. Anyway, talk to me about that. And so from what we hear, there's also a congress on its way.
Elective congress.
There's an elective congress on its way. Nikwe has resigned now. Clearly, this should leave some vacancy in the mix for the GBA hierarchy. And what does this mean generally for boxing development as far as you're concerned?
Well, I think in the last couple of weeks, Abraham Nikwe Kote has not been in the new space for the good reasons, if I want to put it that way. And I like the fact that you've chronicled the events, starting from the death of the Nigerian boxer. I think that's where things began to take south for the president. I've been following that story with a lot of interest. And to put everything into conclusion, I'm talking about the committee that was put up or that was set up by the minister. That committee, I think everybody saw the people on that committee that had former GBA presidents Peter Zwenes, Nia Makai Amatefio, Eko Asma,
I think that's
Sami Battels, and a few others. But it didn't have any rep from the GBA, that's the Ghana Boxing Authority. And that led to the GBA not being happy with that decision from the minister. They felt it was prudent enough that at least he has a rep from the authority on that committee, so that that rep can actually give a proper breakdown of whatever transpired at the Bukom Boxing Arena to leading up to the hospital, the Kolibu Hospital, where the Nigerian boxer passed away. That was settled. The repatriation process was done. They took the body back to Nigeria, but still the GBA were not happy with. They claim they did not have enough support from the minister, so they consistently put out statement to that effect.
Well, enough support means what?
Enough support means that the ministry will support them with the financial whatever stuff that has to do with it. And according to the GBA, they had to do everything themselves.
Okay.
All right. So they put in that statement in there, and I was even my colleague and I were even talking about it.
Okay.
That in that statement, he had a portion of that statement highlighted that the GBA president was a lone ranger in the repatriation process of the Nigerian boxers' body to Nigeria. So, i.e., or what they were trying to mean is that every cost that involved around that, they took care of it. That statement also said that they put in $3,000. It was taken to given to the deceased wife, and it led to some other stuff. Now, on the part of the GBA, they felt that the committee that was put up by the minister was more like to denigrate whatever they've done, more like a witch hunting process on the part of the GBA. So the GBA have not been happy because of the report that came from the committee, and the report that came from the committee that was submitted to the minister, it exposed some lapses at the GBA, and some of those lapses were prior to bouts. You don't have boxers checking up or visiting the medical space to make sure that they are healthy and that stuff. The GBA came out and said all of these were not true. That was put aside. Now the Battle of the Beast event that was organized by Legacy Rise Sports, the GBA president was also not happy, and that was his point, was even buttressed by the GBA's PR, that's Mohamed Amin Lamte, who said that they were going to summon the minister. The GBA,
they were going to summon the minister.
Yes, they were going to summon the minister to come and explain to them why the GBA president was not present when Sharaf and Anthony Joshua and Ahmed Khan visited the president. All right, and so they were not involved in, even right from day one when they began organizing the Battle of the Beast at the book.
No disrespect to them, the promotion house is not obliged to involve the GBA president in any of those things.
Good. And so even when I reached out, or even from the message from the corner of the Legacy Rise Sport, they said what you said. Now the GBA president is not happy with that. Now look, if you put all of this aside, in the last couple of before all these events happened, the GBA have faced some poor mismanagement on the part of Abraham Nketsia, and the people around him have not been happy with the way the GBA has run in the last 4 years under his administration. All right, so his decision to resign was always going to happen. If he did not resign and he went into that elective Congress on July 12th, he would have lost.
You're saying the writing was on the wall.
Yes, he would have lost.
He has seen what the future holds.
And you see, it brings me to this phrase that says that a blow which is inevitably yours, Jenny Prekon. Just take it. Don't wait to last minute and Charlie then go punch you, then your jaws.
Because you're going to waste money
But
just paying delegates off and things, and then you're going to lose the election.
I want to take you back a tiny bit. You know, there's this controversy about the organization and things.
Yes.
If someone is bringing a fight to Ghana, what is the role of the GBA in that? And was that role fulfilled by the GBA? That's all I want to know.
No,
it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Not even, they didn't go.
It wasn't. It wasn't fulfilled by the GBA. So, look, they've not been happy with. You see, if you watch
let
that,
me ask a follow-up question. If it wasn't fulfilled by the GBA, was it a failure on the GBA? Was it like Legacy came to them and said, we need you to do A, B, C, D, and they didn't do it? Or they bypassed the GBA? I just want to understand.
Well, let me try and answer that. And I'm going to be very controversial, but that is the fact. Is when you look at Legacy, whatever they seek to do, nobody can run away from the fact that the young man involved is the son to the president of the land. If he was not the president of the land's son, he would have never been able to organize that boxing without the GBA. Ghana had a Yempendo cracker. It is something we should condemn. That it should never be. And I was happy last week when the guy sat here. You see, he didn't want to go into because he know or they are aware that they didn't do the right thing. Going forward, we don't have to stretch it, but they will have to admit that henceforth, if anything of such thing is done, you have to use the right channel. Because if you don't use the right channel, if it doesn't pass through the right channel, what then happens? If your father is no longer the president of the land, does it mean you cannot bring such bouts here? Or people are going to intentionally block you from, and who does it hurt? It hurts the boxers. It hurts Mother Ghana, and we don't want that to happen. So Gabi, say it as it is.
Yes. So some of the boxers
that's
who
why
even
I asked
fought,
the question.
some of the boxers, so who fought, were under the auspices of the GBA.
Yes.
Because last week when we had them come here, they came with coach of Fourier, who is with the GBA and also with the GBF. So the GBF has to do with the amateur boxers, but with the professionals, you have to deal with the GBA. Okay. So with that side, I'm not saying, coach, I'm condoning what they did.
So that's why I just want the question to be clear. So Legacy bypassed the GBA.
Yes. So that was clear.
So the GBA is right to be upset.
Yes, very right.
That's all I wanted to understand.
That was put aside. And like I was saying, I was on the elective congress, which is on July 12th. The names that I have here are 3 names who are vying for the presidency. So Abraham Nketsia was in there. And this is before he put out that statement saying that he was going to step down as president. we have Rabon Kwashi Dodu and Ivan Bruce Kujo. So what this means is that 3 people were contesting Ben for that seat. Nico is out now because he has stepped down. He's no longer the president. So it's between the 2 of them, Rabon Kwashi Dodu and Ivan Bruce Kujo. There's also the first vice president unopposed, just one person in there. Then we have the treasurer. But I think what everybody is looking for, or will be keeping tabs on, is that battle between Rabon Kwashi Dodu and Ivan Bruce Kujo.
Yeah.
So that's it with regards to
it is going to be a keenly contested.
Let me just say something before you go on. So, with regards to following protocol and the GBA's own legislation and things, I think that Sharaf Muhammad's Legacy Rise Sports Promotion is not the first time the GBA has had an issue with promoters. Now, what I want to believe is that the GBA works almost in isolation, and I think a lot of the promotion houses are not clear in their minds what they are or what is required of them. I'll give you an example. Isaac Dobe held a promotion down here in Ghana. Till today, the GBA and Isaac Dobe
have this ongoing
at loggerheads as to what Isaac Dobe was supposed to have paid as part of a mandatory fee because he was fighting about here. It's never been resolved. Richard Comey had the same problem with the GBA. They went back, forth. They say, why was he fighting outside of Ghana with the Ghanaian flag? He has not paid some 5% to the GBA as solidarity, blah, blah, blah. They kept going on back, forth. In fact, in the end, Comey's representatives told the GBA to get out because they were not mandated to pay that money. And there was no legal backing for them to pay that money. It was more like, it's like a token fee. I will pay if I have the money to pay. You can't compel me to pay the money. And so I think that as part of their elective congress and as part of their framework going forward, the GBA need to entrench a lot more of these things in law so that you can't bypass it, and then there's so many legs to it as to what is right, what is not right, what is mandatory, what is not mandatory. It's just a lot.
To add quickly to what you said, I've studied something with the GBA in the last couple of years. I don't think they've branded themselves too well.
You see,
and I told you this off air.
This is where you want to blame the minister, not us in the current minister, but
the past ministers,
the past ministers as well. Because when it comes, you see, boxing is such that you cannot treat boxing like football, because boxing is more like individual sports. So individual, one person is going on behalf of the whole country. Look, go elsewhere in the world. How is it done?
Exactly.
And just copy. It is just there. The rules are there. Because, for example, if a Ghanaian boxer, I would never understand why a Ghanaian boxer should leave the shores of Ghana and go and fight elsewhere and not have the backing of the Ghana.
It's happened. In fact,
boxing authority.
In fact,
it is not. It is not proper.
Our recent world champions have barely had the backing of the GBA,
which is not proper. And it takes leadership.
I think they've
to resolve that issue.
They've always gone solo. So you find the GBA coming in when the boxers have reached
because
that height.
Yes, it is, and that is where the problem is. It is because one, the institution is weak. That's so the boxers do not feel like this institution can do anything to inure to my benefit. I.e., when they are going out to go and fight and they encounter any issues outside the country,
the institution doesn't step in.
Can the GBA step in and intercede for me? Can they solve my problem? So there's a lot going on with the institution. Ben, I don't want to drag the boxing convo too long, but just wrap it up.
Now, Monday, he says he's going to address the press.
Yeah.
Look, I think he would have a lot of convincing to do. Because in resigning or in stepping down as GBA president, his name has been dragged into the mud. I've heard stuff about him.
Now you can't put out.
I can't put out there, and I know those questions will come up at that press conference. If he wants to step down in peace and have his name, Abraham Nketsia, go down as maybe, if I'm to grade him on a scale of 1 to 10, probably a 6.5 over 10. He needs to clear some of the stories that we've heard.
You know what I think?
After the stories that came out after the Battle of the Beast.
Yeah. I think
if it is true, then I think he'll probably be one of the worst GBA presidents we've seen.
You know what he needs to do? He needs to release a press statement and let it go. If he does a presser where journalists are open to ask questions,
do you know what the last word I've heard from him is that, do you know that now the GBA and the minister Kofi Adams are fighting
Oh, they are. They've not been
because
good.
the last word from Abraham Nketsia is that he says that the minister set up that committee to come in, then what? More of like a witch hunt, whatever, against the GBA. Which is what? And I'm saying that you've not done your stuff. I'm not saying that I'm the part of the minister, but you've not done your stuff well in the last couple of years. 4 years in administration.
I heard him say that they've never, throughout his tenure,
Zero support from the ministry.
Zero support from the ministry. Not even one city. So for me, I want him to organize the press. So that people like Nketsia yourself will go. So because see, we need to fix these things. And there are times when you sweep some of the issues under the carpet, they are only going to come back again in the field. So let him do the press conference. Because he's resigning.
Yeah.
He's not going to be there. Once he's resigning, help and let's fix our boxing. Say the things that you have to say.
All I will say is that when they elect a new president, they should address the fundamental issues wrong with our boxing. It's very unpardonable for our boxers to still be training under roofless gyms in 2025. I mean, how much does it cost to roof a gym? How much does it cost to provide a standard punching bag, a speed bag, standard?
They don't have money. Just as we are encouraging the government to build sports infrastructure for the footballers, the government should also be able to invest and provide those things for these people.
You see, if we didn't have this incident on the part of the Nigerian boxer who died, with zero checkups, making sure that the boxers are healthy, we would continue with this same archaic process. With boxers not going through the right medics.
They call it achiagbation. Do you know what achiagbation? Do you know what achiagbation is?
Which one to be that?
Some of the boxers, they just come and show up. One punch, you just touching the nose, then they fall down. Achiagbation.
He has come to collect the bag.
And just collect achiagbation. Then he takes
5 and 2 cities. Malik
big achiagbation.
That was Kamaruddin and someone take the African game. So let's stop. Anyway, let's move it on. We wish the GBA well in their endeavors. Let me just put on record that Accra Hearts of Folk this week reassigned our good friend Abubakar Ouattara
special advisor
as a special advisor to the club's board. Coach, why is your team doing this?
Oh
yeah, special advisor.
Special advisor
is more like a snitch.
It means that the coach does no, seriously, the coach does this is watch what you are doing. This guy is here if you replace you. That's what they are telling him.
Look, let me address Ilakabo. When Masao did it, the man is working with the players. He said, I told you this man this, I told you this man that. What is that? Sack him and let him go. Pay him off and let him go.
They don't want to pay.
He's worked with this team for 2 years. 2 good years, no improvement.
They just love the chaos.
You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day,
I think the terms of his conditions might be too harsh for the club to actually pay.
He's a special advisor to the board.
Who
is he going to be advised on the board? Elijah Akambi.
No, Tamaklo.
Odote.
Yep, Afede.
Dr. Nyao Tamaklo. Or the chief
the
himself.
Great King.
Who is he going to advise? How well does he know Ghana football and Hearts of Oak to the extent that he is now going to advise the board? Hey! Hearts of Oak, if you want to change the way things are done in Hearts of Oak, you need to appoint an Ivorian to be an advisor to the board.
How can you tell me this story?
How can you tell me this? What people are these?
I don't buy that whole logic of the terms of his contract are so steep that
you will let him finish. Then you come and say, look,
when you let him go, it will be a problem.
What?
It won't be a problem because at the end of the day,
are they saying that
there was to pay that money involved?
Are they saying that there was no performance clauses in the contract? Or they just brought him and signed the contract?
Well, I mean, it's
team of lawyers.
It could be there, but
you brand yourself as gurus when it comes to what football contract.
No, but we know how these things can be. If I don't resign and you are firing me, you have to pay me this.
No, but at the end of the day, what were the KPIs? The KPIs. What were they?
Last 2 seasons, what was their position?
We battled relegation. You remember?
Yeah.
It was the previous season they finished 12th,
and then this season
season was 4th.
This season was 4th.
This season wasn't 4th. Somebody went and ran away from a game.
But
it's rubbish. On the field of play, they were not 4th.
True.
They were not. You cannot tell me they were 4th. There you go. You've not given this team any identity, and you've seen the need to appoint Masaudi Dramani. He's brought in his backroom staff, able coaches who will work with him and make sure Hasselhoff succeed. So Ouattara, when Masaudi Dramani is coaching and has his, he also go to the stadium and be writing his technical report. To report to who? Akambi and Odote and Dr. Nyauta Maklo or the great chief. To who? Do you guys understand tactical issues?
No, they say it's advice. So we don't know if it is
what sort of advice?
On field, off field.
Oh, don't
do that.
Don't do that.
My uncle Ouattara.
Somebody who turns around and blames the supporters for Hasselhoff not being able to perform on the pitch.
I said that guy there.
What sort of advice is he going to give to you people?
Everybody else but himself. The elements, the jersey, the grass. Everybody else was to blame for defeats except
we shouldn't waste time on the people at Hasselhoff. If you think in this modern era, Sundowns and those people just collected $12 million and free for just being there, free, they've taken it. All the African teams have been eliminated from the World Club Championship. True or false?
Yeah, true.
But in going home without any achievement, look at the money they are bringing. Do you think Ouattara, as technical advisor to the board, can advise you to go and win first of all, win the league in Ghana, let alone qualify? You see, the moment he starts doing things that Masaudi Dramani will suspect that the man is undermining his job, there will be chaos.
Yep.
Last week I spoke about Didi going into a system that needs to change in order to bring success. If the way you run football, you've run football like that,
you're not changing.
And you are not ready to change. Look at where football has gotten to in this modern era. You are not ready to change. You are not ready to go professional. You are still going to Newtown and passing by places that you shouldn't going to. What sort of people are these?
Newtown to do? What did they go and do in Newtown?
No,
The final tactics.
The final tactics. Newtown. I had Blachele. I had Jemu. Bena Kechele Nyabe Achongu. Kasabo like a military.
Are they preparing?
Stew or you are still doing those things. Somebody is coming, Hasselhoff is coming to the stadium, then there is what? Feathers from chicken and birds on the ears of the players. Pointing to where? Pointing to where?
Oh Lord Jesus.
The last time I watched that game, there were feathers of birds on the ears.
I remember when Barnier was there was a game where they put flowers behind their ears.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
And they lost that game.
Then you go and take momoni, low shla.
When they went with that, they sprinkle rice on the pitch. But with that, they six.
Was it rice? Was it
onions?
No, mix with rice. This thing, I'm one more.
And then like that, the restaurant on the pitch.
So is Ouattara going to change that?
Toba FC.
No, you see, look. You see, when we hear these things, for those of us who support the team, at times, it is so embarrassing that we tend to hide ourselves. Because the way you behave, you don't want to even be associated with the team. Let the man go.
Yeah.
Sit him down.
It didn't work.
It just didn't work.
Yeah. If there's compensation, if we need to spread it over time,
we'll spread it and let him go back to Cote d'Ivoire. Who are his coaching mate? Machalo Lipi Mekanibi at a retirement.
You mean his age?
Yes, his mate. Who are his mates in coaching? Machalo Lipi me. Claudio Ranieri me. Retirement.
Don't do this.
I'm telling you.
Don't do this. He's not that old.
How old is Ouattara?
I think Ouattara is in like his 50s.
He's older than Mourinho. He's above the Mourinho breed. He's not a modern coach.
Please check Ouattara's age for me.
Check his age for me.
66.
Ranieri is like 70 something.
No, that's it. No, they are calling quotes. If you are with generation, not
Ancelotti's age. Ancelotti is 66.
Charlie.
And that why go be special advisor.
And Carlo is like literally one of the last of a dying breed.
Yes,
Carlo's first coaching job was like 1995.
No, Ouattara didn't go coach more around in the mid 80s and 90s. He should go rest. What can he advise on? What exactly can he advise on?
Well,
now look at the caliber of the board members. He is going to advise you on what? Dude, I don't get it. Oh, Charlie, somebody else should talk about this matter.
Let me announce the WhatsApp lines again. 0549-986-996, 0549-986-996. We'll be getting into some transfers in a bit. Let me read your messages and some YouTube comments as well. So my YouTube people are enjoying themselves in the comment section as always. Shout outs to my YouTube community. Like always, drop us a shout from wherever you are watching us from, and we will be too happy to read out your message. This one here says Coach is all over social media sharing one smooth, one chaff. This one says please talk about Ronaldo and his new contract. This one here coming through says the sweetest show you can think of. Alex Boedu. This one also Emmanuel Asiedu says the master brewer. Nana Kwame Nketsia says Man City fans relax, we ain't done with the signings. Why? More stuff going on. It says, oh Charlie, when I hear Obawo, then you know coach is in town. Charlie, allow coach. This one's from Nana Achin Akwe, says watching from the Bronx, NYC. This one says coach go kill you. More messages coming through. Redeemer Selom says he's watching from Philadelphia. A couple of guys also shouting us out and watching from around the world. So we'll get into a lot more messages. Let me get to my message box and see what I can get through from there. But we have transfer news coming up. What is your team, like I always say, doing in the transfer market? Are you happy with your team? Are you consistently saying Wakelek Benomo, but the player has not raised the shirt yet? Because some people never said Wakelek Benomo, but the players have come to town.
Well, everybody and the way they do the announcement.
Oh, but having said
everybody. But have I mentioned anybody? Have I also mentioned anybody? Everybody and the way he or she does his announcement.
Not mention anybody.
No, but have I mentioned anybody's name?
AC Milan fan day, United fan day, Gabwe team, Chelsea fan day.
I've not mentioned any name.
Fan day.
So he talk. What we talk to everybody then the way they mention
who the cap fits. The cap hit the person that won the cap fits.
The way they talk about Mbeumo and Charlie.
I'll come to you on Mbeumo why you have not raised the jersey yet instead of doing what.
First July he will raise it.
Anyway, this one here says good evening Panaramians. As for me, I have stopped hoping for my club Man United signings this time. Oh, okay. You see, this one says from a reliable source, Mbeumo had his pen on the paper and was about to sign and heard the voice of his coach Thomas Frank calling. He then told United that he was visiting the washroom until now he's still not back. Every day we are
serious here. We are serious. We are not joking. In
Charlie Desmond, please give me the don't go music too. Let's do it. Let's see if we can buy and sell a few players, because as of now, coach has been working like Benomo for the last 1 month. I haven't seen any action. Meanwhile, like I said, Kamaldeen Sulemana is on his way to Atalanta. Liverpool have Kekes. Yusufa Mukoko, somebody who was supposed to be the next big thing as far as strikers, is heading to FC Copenhagen. I'm not sure what's going on, but we'll find out in a bit.
It's Don't Call Me time. One place, May, say, one penny cheap. Don't call me, oh, don't call me. We dey loan this player $1,000. Don't call me, oh, don't call me. For the striker, we can consider. Don't call me, oh, don't call me. No, they see you use. Tina Boga, don't call me, oh.
So goals are sons of Taurus. Now one can shake goals a place of goals. Now on one yard drinks at Teves. And then you coach one come at home. A donda also.
Don't call me, oh, don't call me, oh, don't call me. No, they see you use. Tina Boga, don't call me, oh.
So goals are sons of Taurus. Now one can shake goals a place of goals. Now on one yard drinks at Teves. And then you coach one come at home. A donda also.
Don't call me, oh, don't call me.
Let's go. It's Don't Call Me time.
Don't call me, oh, don't call me.
It's Don't Call Me time.
Don't call me, oh, don't call me.
Catch that.
Tina Boga, don't call me, oh, don't call me.
Catch that. It's Don't Call Me time.
Medasi.
Okay, let me start off on a Ghanaian note, and let's get into Kamaldeen Sulemana moving to Atalanta. I didn't think that I was skeptical about a team shelling out such big money for him, purely based on how his time in England had gone. I don't know about. I've heard a lot of opinions. People saying he will light up Italy, blah blah blah. Let me just say this: I think that for all of us who saw Kamaldeen explode onto the scene from that breakout season at North Island, from the glimpses we saw at Rennes, I think he's been amazingly underwhelming.
Yeah, man.
And last season, his best game was, or his claim to fame was taking Lenny Yoro to the cleanest. Lenny Yoro had been injured for like 2 light years in the lead up to that matchup. So I'm not even sure that's anything.
Might still go down.
I'm not. Well, I don't think that's anything to beat your chest up over.
I'm not, even now.
From
What I saw of Euro at the end of the season, if he was to come against Kamaldeen,
it would be a different story.
But you see,
but
before
18 million euros, coach.
That's good money. Before I address Kamaldeen, my biggest man is listening to the show.
Oh, Charlie.
General One.
Oh, Charlie.
Hey, General One. You see, when you have the general secretary of the ruling party listening to the show, our boss, honorable.
No, he's a big fan.
Fifi.
Remember he was here, he was on the show some time ago.
Hey, General One.
Ardent Chelsea fan.
General One. No, Chelsea be na no na me view. Todd Bowley ina no ko. No more. Ni ahoti ma Todd Bowley no ko ya no.
Before do your wish and go. Don't go to some people.
I don't agree to my boss. No. Stop that thing. No. General One. Honorable Fifi Kuti. Hey. Eta cabinet benismo. Mokonye shwele a cabinet. Fifi Kuti. Onyenye. Kako femo de wa fedi. NDC le owner, he's the day-to-day manager of NDC. The ruling party. Number bakane mingabo shidawo yowa. She no more link up with 2 ko work unbelievable. Now let's come to Kamaldeen. Oh Charlie. Kamaldeen. Nketsia, you see what you said there?
Yep.
To be brutally honest, the boy hasn't shown proper growth. Me, I'll always judge a player from your final ball. Look, when I fell in love with Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, Ronaldo, I'm not saying he should be in that class. But when you move away from the very best in the world, if you control, you dance, you dazzle, you go past players as if they're not there, what then happens? You remember that game that you referred to? When anytime he picked up the ball, he was not only dancing past Lenny Yoro. Every United defender could not live with him. But at the end of the day, which team won the game? United won the game.
And if you watch the game, you feel like he should have ended up with more than
and scored 3 or given like 5 assists. But nothing of the sort. In fact, when I read the news today that Atalanta had signed him, I was a bit shocked, but I was happy at the same time. Let me tell you why I was happy, and then I'll tell you why I was shocked. I was happy because I am one of those people who believe that if nobody or no country medics can keep you fit, the Italians will keep you fit. Because normally when the Italians go for the injury prone players, they come and they are able to stay fit and play their football. That was one reason why. In fact, that was the main reason why I was happy that he's completely leaving England. He's going to places where they don't joke with their fitness. They don't joke with their routines when it comes to keeping the player fit. So he will stay fit. My only worry, the coach is no longer the coach. Gasperini has left.
I think who's at Atlanta?
Ivan
Juric is somebody who's worked with him. So Ivan Juric is leaving Southampton.
No, he left already.
And he's headed.
And he's brought Kamaldeen.
So he worked with Kamaldeen, was pretty happy with him, but and he's going back to Atalanta.
I can only hope that once he's fit, the coach will improve him. Did the coach improve him at Southampton? I don't think so. Because I'm talking about the final ball. Who are you passing the ball to? He's a winger.
Maybe that counts.
One reason why I love him so much is the audacity to fancy himself going past the fullbacks the moment he picks up the ball. I mean, that is one of my principles of coaching. When you give the ball to the wingers, it's a 1v1 situation. Go and dribble the fullback or wingback. If you dribble him, we are going to score. Most often than none, to the very effective and efficient wingers. When they go past the fullbacks like that, they're able to pick the pass and a goal is scored. So it's a move I would don't come on grounds that he's going to a place, or he's gone to a place where he will be, there will be guarantee that he will be he will stay fit. And let's hope that with his blistering pace and the fact that the Italian league is a bit slow, he can capitalize and then improve as a player. This move, I believe, will be his last big move. If he doesn't cut it, then I think he's done.
It's a wrap for him.
He's a wrap.
Mr. Graham, talk to me about why Ivan Juric would be interested in bringing Kamaldeen. He's expensive. He worked with him at Southampton. I don't think he was exceptional. What has he seen that we haven't seen?
That's exactly. He worked with him at Southampton. He saw something maybe on the trading ground that maybe didn't translate to games. That makes him think that this person can take the next step. Because clearly, if this is a manager that's worked with him before he's bringing him, I always say usually when a manager is bringing players he's worked with before, it's a sign of a lack of creativity. In the sense that you've worked with different players. It doesn't mean that they're the only people who can do their job. Your job as a coach is to find the people who can do their job. But clearly, he's looking at the price. Maybe he's thinking that, look, for the price you are getting, and the player I know I can get out of him. This might be a 50 million player, a 60 million player. So maybe that's the motivation. He feels that he can take Kamaldeen to the next level. Because for a club like Atalanta, this is about the amount they usually pay for players. 15, 16, 18, 20. Their highest is like 25, 30. That's like a big transfer for them. So he's right in their price range. And if they feel they can get something out of him, make him into a better player, I'm all for the move. So George must have seen something, because we who have been watching it, we've not seen it. That's the truth. Because
do you think there's a player in there that can be unlocked?
Oh, of course. Look, Pep Guardiola always says the hardest thing to teach is dribbling. And he has that already. You can teach the other stuff. You can make a player a better finisher. You can make him relax his game, change his decision making. Look, we saw Vinicius Junior when he first came to Real Madrid.
True.
Their dribbling was there, but the other things have now come. And I always say, when you look at a lot of players, even Cristiano Ronaldo, do you remember how they used to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo when he was 18, 19, when he first joined Manchester United?
Yeah.
He dribbles too much. He's a showboat. He's not serious. We heard all of those things. Look at where Cristiano Ronaldo has ended up. I'm not saying he's going to be the next Cristiano Ronaldo, but clearly we can see that
there's something in there.
There's something there, because dribbling is very hard to do. And once you have that skill, you can learn other things. Even if you never become an elite passer, an elite finisher, that ability to get past a man, get into dangerous areas and put the ball in is always valuable. So for me, I understand why Atalanta are doing it. And for what, 18 million? What, is that euros or pounds?
Euros.
Yeah, I think that's
a 15 million
pounds. Yeah,
pounds.
that's a low risk deal if you're Atalanta, because they are looking at players that they can resell, players who can improve their team. So for them, it's a low cost, it's a low risk deal. I see why they should do it. And like Coach said, if he doesn't make it at Atalanta, it will be very hard for him to make it elsewhere. Because I believe that, and not because Atalanta is the last stop, but when you go to a club like that and you're in the mid-table, you get the chance to express yourself.
You have a manager who believes in you.
Yeah, if he's not able to cut it there, it will be very difficult for him, and you will start seeing him going to some of those teams that you don't really want to see our players playing for. So
I wonder what.
Ben, just quick word on
1 minute, just to add to what Nketsia said, and what Susu said, and if you look at the profile of the team Atlanta, for example, they've been there, done that, right? So for example, they take a player like Lookman, right,
turned him around.
Exactly the point, right? So if you remember Lookman in the Premier League with Fulham, with Leicester City, and the
Everton as well,
and Everton, and the kind of transformation, we saw him go under at Atlanta, where he was now even Africa Player of the Season, take the Europa League by storm. Look at that performance in the final. And I think if you put player for player in terms of skill set, right, I think Sulemana, slightly edges at Ademola Lookman. So for him to go to Atalanta,
don't do this.
Don't do this.
Make it. No. I won't let you get past this point. Sulemana. No. Let me say.
Ademola has got a better.
Let me tell you something.
End product.
That's what makes the player.
As the raw talent.
We don't rate. Nobody rates potential.
But potential is the thing.
No, because you can be potential forever.
The end product matters. So you should have the basic raw material, which is the talent. And I think in terms of pure talent,
I don't believe.
No, he's not lived up to expectation. but there's a raw injury played in the kind of player we've seen turn out.
I've seen Lukman do things that come out in that.
No, but see, because
like you said, Lukman took the Europa League final.
No, but we saw him at Fulham. We saw him at Fulham. Coach, we saw him at Leicester City. He was better, and we know he was better than we've seen Kamaldeen. I'm coming. We've seen Kamaldeen even before he got to Southampton. You are here talking about his
where was he?
His moments of brilliance.
What I thought was he doing?
He was glimpses. No, he was. It wasn't just glimpses. He was actually one of the best players in the French league.
It's not true. It's not true.
He was being benched by Jeremy Doku and Benjamin.
It's not true.
See, hold on. Let me tell you what was going on. They had Benjamin Borizo. They had, I think, Gaetan Laborde. And then Jeremy Doku. Even Jeremy Doku was benching Kamaldeen there.
Let me give you downplaying.
Let me hold on.
No, we are not downplaying. The moment you try to tell it that he's better,
he played 20 games. Hold on. He played 20 games at Rennes first season. He scored 4 goals. That was the highest number of games he played at Rennes. The next season, this was 2022-2023. Exactly. The next season, he barely played.
How old is he now?
He was injured. He was in and out of the team and all of that.
Dude, how old is he now?
So there's a raw injury place in the exactly. So
how old is Lukman?
He's 22.
Is he
22?
Is he? I understand all the things. I understand all the things I'm saying.
My theory really is that there's a raw injury place in the development of a player.
Come on,
that to an extent, stifles the growth and the potential. But what I'm saying really is that in terms of talent, he's never lacking, and I think he has the cap really to excel.
Nobody has.
Nobody's
doubting. My
point really is that he has the potential. And he's definitely going to. I think Atlanta, like Sisu said, is ideal. If he doesn't cut it there,
he's finished.
Then probably.
So Ben, Jude is telling the whole world that the hat trick.
That point, I don't want to go. It's blasphemy. I don't want to go into it.
The hat trick.
He
scored against Leverkusen. Kamaldeen in his prime will do that. I understand. Look, I understand you're a Ghanaian. I understand you're a Ghanaian, and you're excited that he's going to play in the Serie A. I understand that point.
As at now, Kamaldeen can't carry Lukman's boots to the pitch. Let's not even.
Just quick word. I think the guys have said it. What I've realized about this deal is that I think the last couple of games he played under Ivan Juric, he probably bought his way into the manager's mind. All right. I mean, there's a play. If you look at the player, I think there's a player in there, and the just ended season, I think, was his best season.
Yeah.
Because you check his numbers, 30 appearances in all competitions, a few goals in, I think 3 goals, 2 assists.
So that is where the issue is.
Yes,
you cannot play with the numbers,
some numbers,
and 2 assists.
So with those numbers,
tell me if I play 30 games, I'll drop 3 games and 2 assists. So don't do this.
No, but you see that point? No. If you say Keller,
I say if I play 30 games,
but did you watch? What's his name? Lukman, the entire season for Atlanta.
That be the point. Did you saw him in the Premier League? So my point is that.
But that's light years ago.
No, that's light years ago.
Lukman in the Premier League, he was better than Kamaldeen in the Premier League.
That's the fact. That the transformation.
The transformation
go through now.
See, so let me give you Lukman's now.
So the transformation there, Kamaldeen Sulemana, he's going to play.
Kamaldeen, stop this. Like, because the guy went to the championship, he couldn't do it.
Oh,
no, but look,
we all agree with you if you say that Kamaldeen is obviously naturally talented. Nobody doubts that. Does he have a high ceiling? Yes. Has he lived up to his potential?
No. So don't compare somebody. No. It's too emphatic. Not yet. No, because we've seen what
he's had a couple of chances to do. He's messed everything
up.
The
championship was when he should have shown that there was a player in there. In fact, if I was looking at it based on the championship, I would say that this guy, I can't even trust him.
In fact, that's why. In fact, if you ask me, I think it's absolutely crazy that Atlanta are actually taking this gamble and spending this kind of money.
They see the potential.
It's not just that. No, I think it's coming from the manager.
Go back to that Southampton team. What I tell him, I know can he be Charlie today 9. No, the whole team was a problem.
It is even good.
Okay, so explain the championship why it didn't work for him.
The championship
for the most part.
Thank you. The championship is check the league difficulty index. No, I'm coming.
25 games.
Check the league.
Check 25 games out of is it 46 and you score 1 goal.
Hard on him.
But extra 30 games. Extra 3-0 games. 3 assists.
Let's do something. Are we don't come in Kamaldeen into Atalanta?
For me, I don't come in. Yeah, I do.
want him to go and
Don't come into Atalanta. Fair game. He still has potential. We wish him well. I think he can still be a brilliant player.
But quick one. As for Juric there, if it doesn't work, the fans will come for him because already they don't like him.
Ivan Juric.
Yes,
because he within 3 years this is his third job in 3 years.
Exactly.
He has his own issues already, so I think he's banking on Kamaldeen to do a few things for him. So Kamaldeen will have to come out of the blocks and make things happen. Let me talk briefly about 2 Monaco signings. Paul Pogba is making a return. He has a 2-year deal. Ansu Fati is joining him as well in Monaco. Let me start with you on this one. Out for 18 months, back in the mix, heading to Monaco to play football. Good move. Are you don't come in this for Pogs on?
I wish Paul Pogba had joined AC Milan even.
Oh.
Yeah, I wish he had joined AC Milan. I would have liked to see him and Luka Modric next to each other in the midfield.
That would have been fire.
Oh, I would have loved to see it, but it's a good move for him. Monaco is nice and tax free. He's going to make a decent amount of money. And look, the players in the French league get selected for the French team. So if you're in Monaco and you perform,
he wants to go and play the World Cup.
You go and play in the World Cup. It's very simple. So it's a very good deal for him. And it's a lower level of competition, with all due respect. It's the 5th of the top 5 leagues, clearly. So going there and you perform, you can still get into the French team, but it's less taxing on him. He's been out for 18 months. Very good move for him. And Monaco gets a quality of player they might not usually get. But the question is, after 18 months, is he the same player? We don't know. But for Monaco, it's a very low risk signing, because if you sign him on how many years is the deal?
2 years.
2 years. If you sign him on a 2-year deal, you're even paying him a lot. No transfer fee. Even if he doesn't do well,
you can cut your losses.
You can cut your losses pretty quickly. So I think for Monaco and for both sides, it's a very good business decision. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah. Pogba. You can touch on Ansu Fati as well for me.
Yeah. This is clearly a reclamation project for both teams and for Monaco, for both players and for Monaco. But I'm a bit more high on the Ansu Fati deal than Paul Pogba deal, because at this point in his career, Paul Pogba, with all the football that he's played over the years, I mean, how many more years does he have left, and what kind of impact can he create or give to AS Monaco? I'm looking at Ansu Fati more in this deal, because it was clear what he could be
Charlie, let me tell you
at FC Barcelona.
As a Real Madrid fan, when I saw Ansu Fati burst onto the scene, I had nightmares. I couldn't sleep properly.
I mean,
no, not what Yamal do. No, see, Ansu Fati was like a different level when he burst onto the scene.
He was.
I don't know if people remember.
I think he was a bit more direct than Ansu Fati, and because Ansu Fati
he was quicker.
Than Lamine Yamal, because Lamine Yamal is, he has that dribbling ability with the ball seemingly stuck at his feet. But Ansu Fati is a bit direct. He's coming at you,
long range shot, careless.
And the fact that he hasn't been the same since he burst on the scene a couple of 2-3 seasons ago, I think you can clearly tell that the talent is there. And unlike Paul Pogba, he has more years ahead of him to develop it back into that talent and even better. And I think AFC Monaco will give him that. AS Monaco will give him that platform, that opportunity. I mean, the French league, is a league of talent. That's their tagline. And he is a very talented player. And looking at the fact that they do need some help down the wing, he'll get ample opportunity to play and get that confidence back. The talent never has gone away, but I think it's a bit of a confidence issue. And the fact that he's young, not too many players who are that young can have that air of confidence about them, to the point that no matter how bad things are, they'll still be that confident. I think he's a bit more sensitive, and so he's not.
The lowest spell at Brighton wasn't bad.
He's not a Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba has confidence beyond comprehension. Like he just has it.
He doesn't need anybody.
He doesn't need anybody to prep him up. But with Ansu Fati, you can clearly tell that he needs something of a bit of a push, a bit of support, and that confidence will come. AS Monaco, they will give it to you. So I'm looking at it from more on the Ansu Fati deal than Paul Pogba deal. Don't come in it. Ansu Fati, I'm giving like 9/10. Paul Pogba, just regular 6/10.
Cool, coach. Let me give you the last word on Pogba because I want to find out from a tactical. Hold on for me. What do you want to say?
No, I want to have a take on the Pogba thing.
Relax, I'll come to you. Relax, I'll come to you.
Okay. Maybe before coach is important.
You speak.
Make your point.
You coach go.
No, you speak.
Stop speak.
Speak. My point really is that is it not interesting that Pogba, after years of unlocking United players, helping players, gel on the pitch, would go through injury, career-threatening injuries, will go through a doping ban, family issues, walking through the valley of the shadow of death, all of that, and is now playing in the Champions League, or will soon be playing in the Champions League ahead of United. It highlights for me a very important issue that one, United, at the rate they are sinking, Charlie, they need to check him. But he definitely brings a lot of quality to this Monaco team.
I think that's in go past.
No, they make very serious.
I knew that was where he was going.
They make a very serious point. It shows the difference in class between two teams. And for me, to a very large extent, you're a United fan.
You finish.
But my point really is that, it shows a clear intent from this Monaco team. And beyond the Pogba, of course, his game has changed, but the class is still there. They have this thing they say, class is permanent, right? Form is temporary. He has the class. Ansu Fati adds a lot to this team. And like we saw him draw United, he's definitely going to replicate this form at Monaco. So, solid buy, 100% don't come in move. And as a football lover, if you're a football purist, you should be excited, that
Pogba is back.
I'm telling you.
Coach, 18 months out, I mean, how difficult is it to get back into mainstream football after that type of spell?
I think when you look at him currently, you look at his stature, his body shape, I think he's done extremely well. He's taken very good care of himself. Because
trained with United, I think, at a point.
At a point, and look, believe you me, he would have wished that United had offered him another contract. That's what he wanted. So what Jude is saying is because United didn't show up and say come home, because we believe that when he was a Man United player, the money spent on him, the salary he was on, he was never focused to play his football. Look at the manner in which he left. He again left, free transfer, and unfortunately, since he left Man United, he has never played football to the best of his ability. But having said that, I think, like Susu said, I would have loved him to go back to Italy. And AC Milan, in my view, was the perfect choice for him. But the problem is that there were not.
And also no Champions League. That might be part. He wants to, because Deschamps actually mentioned that he'd prefer to be selecting players who play in the Champions League.
Exactly.
So that's part.
But if you look at this Monaco team, one thing that is obvious, he goes in there and he makes them better. The man's quality has never been in doubt. His ability to play football with that flexibility has never been in doubt. When he decides to focus and concentrate on his game, he will bust it. It is the French league. Maybe the only team that may get them to submit, maybe PSG. But apart from PSG, he looks at the other team, and the fact that they have a relatively good team, he may enjoy his football again. I don't know whether he will look at stepping after a season if he can announce himself. Because don't forget, he's the lad that always won the bigger challenge. He believes he's that good to compete with the best. But it is a move I tactically don't come. He will make them better. And now that he's got Ansu Fati also closer to him, he likes to enjoy his football with those players who are very technical. And for me, it's a perfect addition to the French league. It's a way of saying that I left, but I'm back home, and I'll need my domestic league to bring me back.
And he's never played as a professional.
Exactly.
So.
That's actually interesting.
So it's a move I don't come in. And I think he'll make them.
Let's move to the camp of Arsenal. Let's talk about 3 signings. So 3 things. 1 is that Partey's contract at Arsenal expires on the 1st of July. 2 is that Arsenal they sealed a deal for Norgard, really, from Christian Norgard from Brentford. So 10 million, additional 5 million in add-ons. That's what it's looking like. let's touch on that. Let me come from this direction. Let me start with you, Gabi, on that one. So Partey's departure, touch on that quickly for me, and touch on what Norgard does as a possible replacement or stand-in.
So I checked Norgard's stats. A decent season for Brentford. Of course, that's like for like replacement if you want to put it, but it's more of Zubimendi as Partey's replacement. So Norgard
Has Zubimendi arrived? Is that deal done?
It's not done, but if it
He's
was,
been down for 3 months, but they say he's coming.
No, man.
so it's, I think Norgard would be Zubimendi's backup. All right.
Okay.
Look,
I believe Norgard is more replacing Jorginho.
Oh yes, Jorginho.
Okay.
So they are losing two midfielders.
yes,
They are
two
bringing
midfielders. Yes,
in.
yes. On the part of Norgard, I think what I hear Arteta is pushing for him, because he comes in with Premier League experience.
Very durable as well.
Exactly.
A lot of tackles, a lot of
Good.
interceptions.
Just almost similar to what Partey gives us now. But what is missing from him is that physicality Partey has got in that midfield. And I think that's what Arsenal will be missing.
I would say rather the passing, the physicality. He's a very physical guy.
He's not a controller.
Well,
He's
He's not a controller.
That is, you see, and Arsenal. For me, I'm shocked though.
They say Zubimendi is there.
No,
Oh, man, Zubimendi.
I think
I'll come.
what I've realized is that I think last week we spoke about what Partey wanted from Arsenal, but I'm thinking that it's more of the off-field issues that has to do with why Arsenal letting Partey go. That's what I'm thinking, because if you are saying Norgard is coming in to replace,
I don't want it to seem they are letting him go, because they had an offer on the table.
Yeah.
If you allow somebody to go, you don't give him an offer.
Yes.
But they had an offer on the table.
You know, there's also
so Partey's word was what?
It's a negotiation.
That's 2 years, right? And I hear the wages he wants, Arsenal want to bring it down.
Actually,
But the wages thing too has become an issue with Arsenal and then Partey.
no.
as well.
Actually, it wasn't a matter of wage.
I don't want to
No,
speculate
that's
on
the
wages.
new
'Cause
development. That's what came in this week.
The issue is that
Hey, don't worry, we have an
it's
insight.
1 + 1 or 2 + 1. That was the issue. In fact, they were offering him the same amount of money, but they wanted to say,
So that's the
"We'll give you
200,000.
just 1 year contract, and we have the sole option to extend by another year."
That's
and
what
Partey saying
I
that
have known.
2 years contract, you have the option to extend by another year, and that was the. And if you are spending 50 million on Norgard,
Yeah, 15.
15, yeah. 10,
So 10 plus 5.
50 million on Norgard,
add-ons.
you want to win the Champions League. You want to win the league. Look at that midfield now. Zubimendi, Norgard, Declan Rice, and then Odegaard. Compare that to Thomas Partey, Zubimendi, Declan Rice, Odegaard. Partey makes all of them better. We've seen it all. He's the controller. When he's there, he controls everybody.
Let me just also say, but don't you think that based on how Partey's 4 or 5 years at Arsenal has gone, they also have a right to say that, you know what, we are weighing our options here. We know that you are an elite midfielder, but something has to give.
You see, that I would have understood if they had gone in for a 25, 26-year-old midfielder.
So to come on this, I hear Arteta too doesn't want that, because now you're bringing in somebody who is what hasn't got Premier League experience.
No, they could have gotten that in the.
There was a
Premier
chap in there that was in the news that Arteta wanted that chap as Partey's
Aguime or whatever.
good as Partey's replacement.
The Red Bulls are.
Well,
what
that's
are
Sevilla.
That's 23 years. Yes, Sevilla,
Sevilla.
23 years old. So
League. Where is
instead,
Zubimendi coming from?
from Sevilla,
He's also not.
so instead, Ben, I go for somebody who's coming in with Premier League experience in Norgard, 31.
No, but we just said we all did
Aguime
agree that
is
Norgard is to
is
replace
Jorginho.
Jorginho. The fact of the matter is, we are talking about quality here. You know, we are talking. Imagine Norgard, Zubimendi against Real Madrid and co. There's a vast difference. Oh,
But we saw Zubimendi in the Euros final. So he can't do it.
No, but
you
it's not good
see,
enough.
he's not good enough. We saw the way we saw this nation captain. If Rodri was in that final against Portugal, Spain wins it with cheeky ease. He couldn't boss that final. And if you look at him, even against Manchester United, Sosadai, Zubimendi, Mendo.
I think you are downplaying.
No, I'm not downplaying him. I'm comparing him to the controller. That is the problem.
Fabrizio has given the here we go for Zubimendi and Nogat.
Finally,
yes.
But
So that's what. So you see,
in
Nketsia, let's all face the fact. The Zubimendi, Nogat, Declan Rice, as against Partey,
It's a downgrade on the quality.
it's a downgrade.
Nogat
Clear
is going to be
downgrade.
starting. It's going to be
So that's the point. So that's the point I'm
You
making.
see, and you see, we all know it's a huge risk. This Zubimendi, he can come and he'll be a flop.
Yeah, because we saw Merino, right?
We saw him
If he comes in and he's a flop, that's when you bring in Nogat.
to come and do what? Another downgrade. Downgrade.
But
This all.
you see, here's my issue. The truth of the matter is Partey is not available enough. That's all it
It's
is.
simple.
No, but
Partey, how many games did he play last season?
Don't say last season.
is
Don't
not a
say
good
last
sample
season.
size.
so he missed
relax.
missed 81 games.
Oh, let me
In 5 years.
Please let me talk.
Let me
Let one
talk.
person make a point.
Let me talk. This is very simple. Partey has been in the Premier League for 5 seasons. The percentage of minutes he's played since he joined, for someone who's supposed to be a starter, 56.3 minutes percent of their minutes, right? Compare that to Declan Rice, who's played 88% of the minutes since he joined Arsenal. That's how much Partey should be playing.
No,
That's-
over 5 years, you wait. It's too early. No, you are comparing over 5 years to 2
Even in
seasons.
his first 2 seasons, he wasn't available.
But you are
That's the
getting
point.
no.
I'm saying that-
Your percentage of those over 5 years.
Listen to what I'm saying.
No,
coach.
but you see,
I'm
we
saying
can't-
that he's expected to be playing that many minutes.
I think
That's
we
the
can. I think
expectation.
we can all agree around the table that Partey has not been available enough for us.
No,
But
I
81
think we
games
can
in
all
5 years
No.
is not outrageous.
No, listen to what I just said. He's played
I get
56% of the
where you're
way.
coming
And I'm
from.
saying that, look at how much Declan Rice plays.
And I'm saying
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm saying that
we are saying the same thing, but I'm saying that you cannot.
I'm not using
doing
it
the
as
5
fair.
years
I'm
or
saying-
2 years
I'm
comparison.
saying
Which
that
is
that
fair.
is that's the expectation. How much Declan Rice plays is the expectation.
Which is fair.
I'm not
looking at-
expecting him to play.
I'm looking at Nogat for 6 years. He's played 122 games.
No, stop.
that's against
No,
Partey's 130
easy,
games.
stop.
No,
Easy.
but so
I'm using minutes for a reason. Listen to what I'm saying. Nogat in the Premier League since he came to Brentford has played 74% of their minutes. Is that not higher than 56?
Fair enough.
That's the
That's the issue.
and that's my whole point. I'm talking about the.
We can agree to disagree.
Brentford, they don't play in Champions League. They don't play in Europe.
We can
The number of goals is shocking.
No one is saying, but if that's the whole point,
That's another angle to look at it from, right?
the whole point I'm making is that if you look at the other Arsenal players who are supposed to be, because Partey is the first name on the team sheet when he's fit,
Yeah.
and you can only master 56% of minutes, Arsenal will feel like you are not a reliable investment. That's the facts of the matter.
Which is fair. I think that's a
And
fair.
we're not talking. This is not an ability. This is clearly not an ability
We are
issue.
hearing from sources very close to Partey that it's never really about the money for him.
No, it was never
Right.
the money.
It's more about the disrespect from the club.
Yes.
Because he was interested in staying.
Staying.
And it's never been
don't-
about his financial gains. It's
I
more
don't-
about the
I don't
fact
understand
that
1 year
No,
contract.
No, so it's more about the fact that so I'm
you can't
explaining to
give
you.
up.
So it's more
Nketsia-
about the fact that the team was more interested in signing players than rather, getting him to
Extending his
sign
contract.
a
Yes.
contract.
Which
That was
And
another issue.
And you see, the other thing is that if you take away Gabriel Magalhaes, right? That's the name. And you take away maybe Saka. I think by far, by
Saliba.
every stretch of imagination,
Saliba.
maybe, right? No one comes close to the quality Partey brings to that game. And that PSV
Saliba
and
is
PSG,
my guys.
between the two of them,
That's why I keep saying
saying
that. I don't think that Arsenal's decision on Partey has anything to do with his ability. I don't.
So it's not
And you have to remember, this is the most
Right.
available he's been since he joined Arsenal. So if for 4 years you've been unavailable, then your last season you are available, they will think to yourselves,
but going,
That's
saying
why
somebody is unavailable and going for a replacement
And who is also 31.
who is advanced
Nogat is not the replacement. Stop saying this.
Stop
saying
Zubimendi is Partey's replacement.
Yes.
Nogat is Partey's
How
replacement.
many games did Jorginho play to even get a replacement for him?
You need a backup. So what is Nogat be making and not have a
No, I'm
backup?
coming. You see,
Oh, come
Nogat
on.
is a traditional number 6. If you see him play for Brentford, true or false?
Yes, yes.
So who else is going to play in that 6th row for us now?
Zubimendi.
Zubimendi, Odegaard,
Rice. Yes.
It balances out perfectly.
See,
I want to listen to the Arsenal supporters. If they are listening, do they think that?
Yeah.
I want to, if they can send them some messages.
I'm
on
sure
it,
a few of them will come.
they should send a message that Zubimendi, Norgard, Declan Rice.
If you put
Look, even Zubimendi and Norgard together, Partey is better than the two of them together.
Fair. Let's hear
But we're saying it's not an ability issue. That's the thing. It's not about ability.
Yeah, the thing is, Partey is one of the highest earners in Arsenal. And when you look at the kind of the number of games and minutes that he's played over the 5-year period that he's been at Arsenal, it will definitely raise concerns. It will definitely raise concerns if you are Arsenal and you are signing a 32-year-old player who has missed a lot of games over that 5-year period at a very high price or wage.
That's the truth.
And so if you offer that player a 1+1 deal, I think it's a fair deal.
It's never a fair
If he does not appreciate that deal and decides to walk away, I think it's just a business deal, because at the end of the day,
same here.
There's Gabriel Jesus and small,
because at the end of the day,
Gabriel Jesus is always injured. You can't sell an injured player.
yes.
That's the problem.
At the end of the day, you also have to make room for a striker, because that's what they need. They also need a striker, because if, let's say, you get in Shesko or you bring in Gyökeres, he's also coming in for a hefty amount of money.
Yeah.
And so you also have to take care of that bit.
Yeah.
You can't just satisfy one party and leave the other party hanging. At the end of the day, Arteta is entering a very critical season. If he does not win, they'll sack him.
But
They will sack him.
Yeah, on
And so
record,
that's why he's wanting Norgard.
Let it be put on record
is an
that
upgrade on
Arteta. Let it be put on record that Arteta wanted Arsenal to give Partey the contract.
Yes, but it's a business deal.
It's a
At the end of the day,
Business deal. The man's job is on the line. But okay, business. Business not actually business.
Because at the end of the day, you want to win the Champions League, or you want to win the Premier League, or at least the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Partey at least. Why Arsenal has gotten to
at least
no, they won the league.
Let's not
they don't win
split
it,
hairs.
no problem. What does Partey excel at? Controlling, passing, ability to start attacks from the back. Zubimendi does that.
He doesn't do that.
Then the physicality bit, that's where Norgard also comes in. He will act as a backup.
You say it's a substitute.
And both players come in for half the price that you pay for Partey. And that's not the wages.
So what?
So it's a
I'm moving on to a different topic. Hold on. Let me tell you something. I think we are all right. Arsenal have a right to move on from Partey if they think the finances are not right. I think that Partey also, for his ability, if he expects to be signed, that's
the controller.
Like, I think in the end it's business. And
I sat here and I said Partey trust Nagbene, Partey trust, and I'm going to say Partey trabi Agbene, Partey trabi.
Fair game. Talk to me about Christian Mosquera. They're trying to buy a young defender from Valencia. I think he's 21 years or 20 years. He's a ball playing centre back. Why is he featuring in their plans?
Tomiyasu. Simple.
I guess
Tomiyasu doesn't feature.
They have a lot of centre backs.
I was about to say there's too many centre backs. I don't understand this deal, to be honest. I get it, he's a young player, he has potential. Maybe I eventually think about moving Kiwo eventually, but the centre backs are too much. Use this money on your forward or at this point. Like, I get it. He's good. Like, we get he has potential. He's been decent for Valencia for the last 2 years, whatever. Cool. But like,
really,
this not seriously, like, the transfers so far are not inspiring.
If Arteta spends a dime on any centre back, he should be fired.
They spent it.
Gabriel, Saliba,
Kiwo,
Tomiyasu, Ben White, Timber, Califori.
Ben White is a
Do you remember?
I had an issue with Arsenal fans over this. Do you remember I had this issue? I said it. I said that Ben White is not a. Do you remember when they signed Ben White? I said it. I said it that signing Ben White was a waste of time because Saliba was there, and they decided to go and loan Saliba.
It's like saying that
Saliba to Marseille.
Joscovadio is a left back because he plays. He's not a left back.
He was a centre back.
He had played centre back his whole career.
He's a left back. He's a centre back.
Vadio. He's not a left back. He's a centre back.
You are at the behest of the coach, so you
No,
start to deploy.
the reason we are complaining about this because at least Califiori, you can say Califiori had only one season as centre back. He played left back his whole career. He went to Bologna. They moved him to centre back.
They
Relax. But he's not. Brighton not the only team he's played at. When he's gone everywhere, he was playing centre back. He had played like 5 games at right back before Arteta moved him.
So Mosquera is a bad move. Let's talk about transfers nobody's touched on.
Somebody didn't get my point well about the disrespect bit. So the point I started to make was that the club, Partey felt aggrieved according to sources. It's not even like we are just speculating. Very close sources.
If you don't want to sign me, let me go.
Yeah. So his point is that he felt disrespected that the club was interested in signing on new players rather than talking about his contract. Right. So that is
which is fair.
Which is fair. Exactly.
Anyway, any transfers you think are worth touching on that we haven't touched on? Any transfers? Chelsea,
Gittins.
Bino Gittins.
Yeah. They say he washed a Jadon Sancho.
Chelsea to have like a glut of wingers. I'm not even sure what's going on there, but they say he's more direct than the people they have. So
we've also heard that Nicholas Jackson is not happy.
In fact, I'm hearing that Maresca has asked Jackson to look for a new club.
Yes,
that's actually the
if I were him, I would have been gone by now.
Hey, why? Jackson, he's better than Delap.
Please. Have you asked him a question?
Oh no, coach, I disagree.
Delap. Disagree.
No, I disagree. Jackson is better than Delap.
I'm telling you honestly.
On what basis?
Scoring.
Numbers don't lie.
Scoring.
Jackson did make the point about
Jackson gets a double the chances Delap because then he scores like 2 more goals.
How many goals did Jackson score for Chelsea in the Jackson? 15 in all competitions.
See, 13 in what?
If Jackson
in all
was
competition, 13.
If Jackson,
anyway,
Jackson was at Ipswich.
Dakar.
Let me talk about the club World Cup. We'll do quick thoughts and then predictions on the games, and then we'll move it on. Let me start off from.
Start with me. I want to say something about the Brazilian clubs.
Okay, let me start off. Palmeiras and Botafogo. Round of 16.
Who to go through?
Yeah.
No, he wants to talk about the Brazil.
Oh yeah, I think I've been really impressed with the kind of seriousness they've put in the competition.
Yeah,
it's because of the money.
Yes, exactly.
Why you think 120 million won't help every club in Europe? Don't do that. Don't do that. Every club will be happy.
World country.
Brazil is not a third world country. That's the first thing.
They're from a third world country.
It's not a third world country. Let's start from.
But they're not part of the top.
They're not an elite country, but they're not a third world country.
Okay, they're not part.
Brazil actually have one of the biggest economies in the world.
Yeah, but they're not a G7. So what are they? There's no second. There's
no club in the world that 120 million won't help them. Don't do that.
But there's no club in the world. It's different than this.
Let me just say this.
Okay.
I've gotten a very important message from one of our very big senior man, saying that Kamadin actually has been bought to replace
Lukman.
Oh, Lukman is leaving?
Lukman is leaving.
I mean,
remember he went on strike last season to leave and things.
Lukman is leaving.
So they'll get money in for him.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
So Brazilian clubs do what? Botafogo, Palmeiras, who's going?
So Botafogo for me.
Anyway, Yao, do Benfica, Chelsea.
Chelsea or Zay?
Round of 16.
Benfica.
Why? Chelsea won 2 out of their 3 group games.
Yeah.
And Benfica won their group.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. True. And on top of that, I look
like
at
it was easy win.
Let the guy make his point.
it's a knockout stage, and looking at how Benfica defended in their game against Bayern Munich, I think they can hold out Chelsea and prevent them from scoring, make it a very lumbering game or laborious game for them, and get them to maybe potentially the extra time, and that's where I see them naked. I don't expect a brilliant game from either side, because Benfica have shown that they can just mess up the entire game plan of those kind of teams.
They are a disgrace to Portuguese football. Benfica,
but at the end of the day, it's Bruno Lage. It's Bruno Lage who is coaching them, and he's a different breed. Yeah. I mean, he coached Wolves. You remember his time at Wolves, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and so I'm not surprised with the kind of defensive output that they put up, and that's why I see them necking it ahead of Chelsea.
Susu, do Inter Milan, Fluminense.
You know how that's a difficult one, because Inter have a new coach, so I'm not sure about them. If they play if they use Inzaghi muscle memory, they'll win. But if it's Christian Kivu doing their coaching, I'm not sure. So I'll say it's up in the air, but Inter have a slight edge.
Al Hilal, Manchester City.
Oh, no contest. Manchester City will win.
Al Hilal have been poor since that Real Madrid game, to be honest. Let me stay
Or was
with
it
you.
that Real Madrid were poor that day?
Could go both ways. Let me stay with you on that note. Do Real Madrid Juventus?
Oh, I expect Real Madrid to win. I watched Juve yesterday against Man City. I was not impressed by so many things. They just couldn't hold the ball. No matter how well Man City tried to press and at that level, you should be able to construct like 3, 4, 5 decent passes. They couldn't do anything of the sort. And defensively, they were in 6s and 7s. Yes, Real Madrid may not pose the sort of dominance in possession that Man City showed. But Vinicius Juniors, Jude Bellingham, Ayer Mbappe has started training. Definitely he will be in the fold and all that. It is a knockout stage.
Yeah.
Juve will have to be on their A game. They have a relatively new team.
Yeah.
And for me, I look at Juve today and it hurts because it tells you that if you are a team, you should not wait till all your best players all retire before you think about what.
If anybody told you after their 7 title run that they will become this team, you wouldn't have believed.
Because when you look at them, they look so ordinary.
God being ever so good, it has happened.
You see, they look so ordinary, and
They are in shambles.
It has to be Real Madrid.
Okay, touch on something quickly for me. Real Madrid are benching Rodrigo. They want to bury him on the bench. Is this a statement on what his future is at the club?
I believe so, because I've said it before. Their best starting lineup, if we are being honest, it won't feature once Mbappe joined, because I don't believe that Real Madrid, the way their team is set up, 3 forwards was the way to go in a lot of games. Maybe if you are playing Leganés and Elche and those teams, maybe you can afford to have 3 forwards, but generally not. But the fact that he was not even getting on at a point was worrying.
Mbappe is injured and they are playing Cantera kids ahead
but you
of
see,
him.
I think it's the style. That guy is a bit more physical, because you can't have 2 similar players in the front with no kind of physicality and they are both wanting to run in behind. Because look at even the way Inter play.
Yeah.
One drops, one goes. One drops, one goes. They are both able to do it. If you have that kind of partnership where both of them are running, there's too much space, or they both want to have the ball. You need that differentiation. And for me, Rodrigo and Vinicius are a bit similar in that way. So that's, I believe, what the issue is. There's no tactical difference.
Flexibility.
I feel maybe if Mbappe plays, he can offer different things, but it's just you need to just
Let me just say something to the question you asked. If Real Madrid indeed is a serious footballing team, and the fact that they intend to go into every competition believing they can win and they should win, don't sell Rodrigo, because he gives you quality in depth. He's a player, if the system is right, is capable of starting.
I think they should sell.
He's a 15 goals player a season, guarantee. Because how many times have we not seen this boy come to the rescue of this team when they needed somebody to step up from the bench? You remember when they won the Champions League the season before? Anytime he came off the bench, he was the difference. So what I'm saying is that, why would you sell him?
But I think it's he doesn't want to sit on the bench anymore.
No,
that's the issue.
So
He thinks he's a bona fide starter now.
That's the issue.
But truth be told, he's not a bench player. Truth be told,
So something must give.
he's not a bench
But you
player.
see, the problem is
So
that when-
that is where now it falls on the coach to find a way of getting him to be happy.
But
I think if you get him to understand the players he's competing with, he's competing with Mbappe, Vinicius. Who else?
Hendrick is also trying to break into the team.
don't even think about Hendrick. The problem is that when he plays, he doesn't. They all don't put enough
So
effort.
the system. Can the coach demand of them to put in the effort?
No. They need
Why
to sell
no?
him. They need to sell him.
Come to Liverpool.
They need to sell him.
Why
Because
no?
at the end of the day, they have quality in depth. You
In who?
check- I mean, there's Brahim Diaz. There's,
He's better than all those players.
Adagule.
He's better than Adagule.
You have all this, and
No,
the
but he's
Gonzalez
not-
boy that who has come in. They have quality in depth. So
Who
let
boy?
him
Who
go.
boy?
I don't think, like y'all say, I don't think those guys are better than him.
No,
But Real
so-
Madrid
so
also
when
you
you
can
do
say
that, look,
these guys are
You see,
pretty
no,
close
no,
to
you
what
see,
you are doing.
when you
is not
do
that
that,
sharp.
then you pray that Mbappe and Co will last the entire season.
Fair.
If they were to get any form of injury, the team is finished.
No, coach,
Now
you're
you said the
right.
player
No, coach,
will
you're
be-
right. But he doesn't want to sit on the bench. That's the
He
issue.
doesn't want to be
It
anybody back
doesn't
up.
mean no. I disagree with the fact that he doesn't want to sit on the bench. That cannot be emphatic. That cannot be the statement of truth. He cannot
So
say
think
that
he wants to
no
say
player, not even Ronaldo and Messi, has got a right to say they don't want to sit on the bench.
Well,
It's about the system, the coach, and the opposition.
fair.
So if Rodrigo is in this Real Madrid setup and he's not starting against Barcelona and he's starting against, let's say,
Leganes.
listen.
he will be happy.
Don't say Leganes. He doesn't need to start against any game. He's a player who can score Barcelona. How many times have we not seen him score against big teams? If he's not starting against Barcelona this week, and you are giving him 30 minutes against Barcelona, and the next game he's playing against a team in the champion and he's starting, he'll be happy.
Well,
Don't you see? You cannot sell such a quality.
You can manage.
I get where you're coming from. Let's continue with predictions. Monterrey and Borussia Dortmund.
Oh, Dortmund. Monterrey, they are too old.
I'm here 43. Can you be fair?
That's where Ramos is.
Ramos,
right?
Yes.
Acuna, and Son.
Yeah,
Sergio Canales and things.
Sergio Canales is not that old. It's like 30 to 35.
Sergio Canales.
Bayern Munich and Flamengo.
Wow. That should be a good game.
Bayern Munich. I'll go with Bayern Munich. I'm banking my hopes on Olise scoring from a free kick because Flamengo, like typical Brazilian team or South American team, they commit a lot of fouls around the dangerous areas, and so I'm banking my hopes on
One of the free kicks
Bayern
in the
Munich
minutes.
getting a goal from a set piece, being a corner kick or free kick close to that dangerous area. So I'm tipping Bayern Munich to win.
Last one, PSG Inter Miami.
PSG Inter Miami.
PSG wins.
PSG goes
Shout
to-
out to my go-to who's never been eliminated in the group stage, but
Yes,
it's time
PSG
to go
goes
home. It's time to go home.
Let's not lose sight of the fact that one of the best goals to have been scored in the Club World Cup in group stages, Liam Delap.
Charlie, did you see Savigno's goal yesterday?
One of
Charlie,
the
that's
qualified.
How that one of the best?
He locked the keeper.
That's a regular. That's a regular striker.
He locked.
I scored those with cheeky ease.
Nketsia here. Nketsia will score those goals
With his eyes closed.
It's only strikers.
Do you know why? They're so used to Nicolas Jackson spoiling chances. They are impressed by these things.
He really emphasized the point that Nicolas Jackson there for goal. No, if for goal. So now the quality.
It's only strikers who don't have composure who marvel at such. That's I saw that. I saw Chelsea fans like they up has finally scored it. I went to saw the goal. I'm like
Anyone
You should analyze it from a technical
Let
point
not
of view.
goal scoring poverty lead you to disrespect yourself.
But you-
Let me repeat that again.
I'm disappointed in you. Last season,
Let not goal scoring
Jackson
poverty.
scored a number of goals that were decent.
Oh please, let's be
Pass the
serious.
lap, and you're saying
Anyway, I have ended the show. The show is over. I can score that goal. I can do that goal. Please, let me start to you.
I have 3 shout outs. So I'll do one, then we go and come back, then I'll do my HR one.
Go ahead, please.
You know, the people at the Roman Rich School, they've been lovely. And truth be told, one of the best in the business, the general manager of the senior school, she's been absolutely brilliant. Miss Diane Tete Mais. Young lady, you are in charge. We learn from you
Oh, Charlie.
because you are on top of your job. Miss Diane, God will bless you. Look, she's the general manager of the senior school of the Roman Rich School. She's an ardent listener of this program.
Thank you.
Diane Ofane, Nyuma Jobo. She's one of the very committed Jehovah Witness persons I have seen in Ghana. From Coach Nimley and the Sports Panorama team, we say a big shout out to the general manager of the senior school of the Roman Rich School, Miss Diane Tete Mais. God bless you. You are in charge.
Oh, Charlie.
Charlie, when I next person, then
Oh,
I'm going to
me.
say HR one.
Very simple one.
See, all the guys who reach out there asking me about the consignment, coach. You know, Obeda someone. No, he's a big man at Old Mutual. Charlie, he's managing things there. He said he want one for some
Which
foreign
Obeda
people.
Samoa is this?
Oh no, Obeda someone, you know.
Hey!
Oh Charlie,
He's looking for half for who?
He
For
said-
some what?
He said he dey love the rough one.
For himself. Is he asking for it for himself or for somebody?
And all the other people, you know, you get that. This is personal, this is personal information. And all the other guys, Charlie, there are too many. You know, in my DMs, about 5 of you. I've seen all of you. Shout outs to you. keep listening, of course. Much love to you out there.
Yeah, a big shout, belated birthday to Alex Kojo Krampa, inside Kaswa. Big shouts to you, man. And a happy belated birthday to our colleague Caleb Kuda.
Oh,
no Kuda.
Abontin father.
Happy belated birthday to Caleb Kuda.
You see, Caleb has been misbehaving when I do kickoff in the morning.
He's
saying all kinds of things that are not true. Then when he finished, he won't let me respond. Then you thought the guy that should play the 16. Caleb, happy birthday, Charlie. Yeah. Bless up.
Well, shout out to our listeners as always. You know, I know it's a Friday. Go and enjoy yourselves.
Are you enjoying yourself?
Oh no. I've things to do tomorrow. You know, I've spoken to you, but I have things to do tomorrow.
I have to check real quick.
I have things I'm doing tomorrow, so I'm a bit busy. So, but you guys enjoy for me, and thank you for always listening.
I appreciate it,
Bosu. You know our management. They've gone for the boot camp, isn't it?
Yep.
And where they are, there's this Ogboro. You always about then cheba job no more odadie. No more odadie Eric Prince Agbo. Kake mene Agbo ni be noko ni da. Noko petekple, noko uji. Edadenche.
Hey Charlie.
No more Agbo. Odadie Eric Prince Agbo. Look, take your shout out. Take your shout out.
You mean take your shout out?
You deserve it, no more Agbo. From the Sports Panorama team, from the rabbi. Today, when the cocky they say, he said the rabbi should say this. So this is the rabbi saying it for you.
Thank you.
No more Odadie Eric Prince Agbo.
Okay.
No more Odae Agbo Odae the fame of Yamo Agbo Odae. No more Agbo. Shout out. You are job. Yes, Amen.
Dominic Guccimain and Daniel Payday. You know that your shout outs are reserved on the show. You don't fight for shout outs on this show. It is yours. Take your shout out. Coach, one more.
Yeah, my last birthday present.
Thank you.
To my lovely daughter. You see, Venetia Aram Alamatu. She's the daughter of my boss. When you go to Kolebu, the nursing training school
Nakai.
Look, my boss, her father, Mr. Alamatu. He says, my angel, myself and mommy. Myself and mommy. So which is Mr. Alamatu and his wife.
Thank you.
Wish you the best in life. May you grow in wisdom, grace, and strength.
Thank you.
May your heart always be filled with happiness, courage, and kindness. I pray that God grants you endless opportunities, fills your day with laughter, and blesses you with good health, success, and favor all the days of your life. Venetia Aram Alamatu, from your dad and your mom, we say happy birthday.
Why?
God bless you, young lady.
Thank you very much.
Nketsia, today on my way here, a parent saw me. She was with her son and her daughter. Dude, they were not coming on this direction. Because of me, they followed me. And I was walking by the roadside, and then the woman just parked. And the joy of the boy.
The joy.
The joy of the when he saw me.
Oh boy.
He said, Coach, is that you?
Is that you?
I said, yes, it's me, young man. It's me, young man. It's me, young man.
Oh man.
Look, Paul Ni Obodai
and
his lovely sister
Paulus and Pauletta
Obodai.
Are they twins?
No, they are not twins. Obini Nichiriba.
Chale.
Paul, you are bad job, no? I hear you are a student at St. Aquinas. You are a science student. I have said, like I told mommy today, anything chemistry, just send me a bus.
You mean?
And I'll make time for you.
Chale.
God bless you. There's no limitation to what you would do.
Chale.
No more Paul Obodai.
No
He said he's a Chelsea fan. And I said we'll talk about that later.
No, he has seen the light.
And I told him we'll talk about that later.
He has seen the light.
But the moment he said that, then his sister said, I'm a Manchester United. You are John. Oh, Paul, you are job. Oh,
bless up.
Amen.
Big shout outs to Coach.
But Charlie, let's go. The consignment is there.
Thank you very much, my brother.
So you tell the whole world I'm going to give you some.
Shout outs to Yaya Jamita, Gabriel Fair, and Jude Danka making a guest appearance on the show. Caused so much disruption, this young man. I am Benjamin Nketsia. Show proudly brought to us by Twisco, Royal Kingdom Estate. Show will be up on YouTube at Citi Sports GH. You can catch the repeats there. Until then, same time next week, we'll be back. But keep doing the listening. Keep your dial right here.